we go. All right. Oh, yeah, look at him. You got to fight him on the surface.
What I like to do is take an RC jig from Northland Fishing Tackle.
Get the shiner after the fish attacked it. Hook 'em weedless style.
This puppy wanted a jigging size sucker minnow. Yeah, sucker minnow.
Oh, thanks everybody for coming out. And I want to know if the winter was long enough for you. This was one to remember. Crazy, crazy. Started out kind of mild and drug on. And we want to let you know what's happening on the water. Timely information and great guests and techniques to help you through your fishing trips. I want to give some special thanks for the show. We wouldn't have this show without Chesterburg Toyota. They're just super awesome. They have a great customer service. I mean, it's some of the best I've ever experienced, and an awesome showroom, state of the art, in a shop to work on stuff. Stop in and say hi. The coffee's always on because I know I stop in there even when I'm not buying a truck, but they're great people. And if you're in town, stop in at Bemidji Sports Center and you want to get a big, bad four-wheeler side-by-side, because I know riding is really good and really popular now. Stop in and talk to Shane in Brandon, and they will show you some wicked rides. So do that. And they also have jet skis. Just don't jet ski next to me, please. So stop in there. And for this episode and the up-and-coming ones, I want to thank Visit Bemidji for coming on board. It's awesome. If you're planning a trip to Bemidji or the area, you definitely got to visit Bemidji and check out their site. They will steer you in the right direction for a great vacation at a great fishing destination. It's a cool area. So many lakes, so many walleyes, so many bass, so many panfish. You got to check it out. Surprise the spouse with a summer vacation, or ask forgiveness. But stop and check out Visit Bemidji, and they're one click away. So I appreciate everybody coming on tonight. And I want to tell you right now, everything's happening all at once. Hey, good to see you guys. Hey, Neil. And Chasen Walter is on board. We've got a great guest coming on tonight. But before I bring in His Highness, the legendary Gussie, who actually went down to Tennessee and beat some of the absolute best bass fishing people in the world. And how does bass relate to, I'm a walleye guide. It's everything. 70% of all walleye tournaments are won with bass techniques now. So this is one to watch. And I'm going to bring in Sam, my co-host. Sam, visual marketing guy, tournament winner. This guy designs lures for Northland Tackle. Sam, how many hats do you wear? Holy cow.
A lot. We all do a lot, but we all love it over there at Northland. So it's awesome.
It is such a cool culture there. I love it. And they just, the ideas that come rolling out of there are fantastic. And I like even the shirt here, like this hockey jersey. Greg, this has been a hit.
You look good in it.
It's been really cool. Hey, Sam, we normally would probably be mostly open now. What's going on with the water right now?
Yeah, it's mostly still frozen up here in the North Country. A lot of ice yet. Today we had some really warm weather, and most of the snow melted off the ice. Now we just kind of got to burn through the ice, but we still got a ways to go yet. But I heard you found some open water this week.
Well, I had to do something because, you get cabin fever bed, but Rainy River was opening, but there wasn't very many places to go. And we happened to show up at an access right after they cleared it and got out on the water. And it was an insane bite. I'm not kidding you. I caught one of the heaviest walleyes I've ever caught in my life. And every year I catch plenty of walleyes over 30 inches. And I've just never held a fish this girthy and this big anywhere, on Erie, anywhere. This was just a monster and just made my day. Heather absolutely kicked my butt. She caught way more fish. I only got a few bites, but I got the monster. And we're having a great time. But if you jigged it too hard, you caught a sturgeon. And where can you catch fish like this? I mean, it was insane. And that's on walleye tackle. that's on a light St. Croix rod, and she could probably kill me. And there's Hammy. Everybody knows Hammy. He's a local pro. Well, pro, and he doesn't guide or anything, but he's a super good fisherman, and he's kind of a fixture of the area. And Gussie does know him too, and he knows Gussie. But a tournament angler and does really well. But what a great time! The water temperature was really moving up. Everybody's catching fish, and a lot of traffic and a lot of walking to when you park. But you know what? I'm telling you, you just got to go. You got to go do it. You got to scratch that itch, and you can't keep them, but it's fun. So, Sam, what do we got to look forward to with products this spring?
Yeah. I think the thing I'll cover tonight, and it's going to be awesome. The one good thing this late spring will give us is a long jig bite. So Northland's got a ton of new jigs coming out. We got the Gamakatsu series, which features this MVP jig. So it's got the Gamakatsu Big River hook on it. And I tell you what, I always joked we should have sold Band-Aids as a promotion with these things because they are sticky sharp. They'll poke you digging through a box. Also in that series for the walleye side of things is the Mimic jig. So this is our Mimic minnow head, but it features a really nice Gamakatsu hook on there. Another good one. And then I don't think I have one here, but you got one. The new tungsten jig. Yeah. So that's been an absolute killer. Me and you have been fishing with it for a year. The added benefits of tungsten are huge. It's been flying off the store shelves, flying off our website. So it's really great. Tungsten is 30% more dense than lead. So it's a little smaller profile. Because of that, you can get a little bit or away with a little smaller size. And then also the sensitivity is so much better because it's such a harder material than lead. So it's like dragging your finger on the bottom. You can feel exactly, especially on the rainy where you go from rock to sand or, gravel, different bottom contacts. So it's really awesome jig. And we got a ton of awesome jigs this spring. So I'm excited for the long jig bite.
Well, and bring extra because one of my guests kept snagging. It wasn't Heather, and I actually lost one too. So, but without any further ado, somebody who has ice fished just as much as all of us and knows every aspect of fishing for walleyes, pike, and fishing in the North Country, as well as even competing in tournaments in Minnesota, is a Bass Master Championship winner, Jeff Gustafson, a two-time winner at this spot. Bring on Gussie. And also probably the king, the international bass king right now. And
looks like Brooke just told me that Gussie is having a little bit of issues here. So we'll talk a little bit more fishing and stuff while we wait for him to get on here.
Well, absolutely. So what we were doing to really catch a lot of fish because, well, what Heather was doing, there was a little trick to this. When you're using tungsten jigs, you get a solid up and down feel. And we were using a little bit of tungsten and deep V, and we had to use deep V's to start for different colors. But the tungsten, straight up and down, Heather was actually fishing higher up off the bottom, and we were on the bottom. And so with forward viewing, I could see fish racing up and eating something. Then I'd see her pole bend. So she just had the magic there and was jigging up off the bottom. And you don't think of rainy as being off the bottom because most of your rivers, you want to make that bottom contact. You're right here. But there's a couple times she was 3 feet off the bottom, and we seen walleyes come up and grab it. And when they come up off the bottom, they don't bump it. They inhale it. So all of her fish came in without coming off. And so there was sturgeon at different levels. And I was using Humminbird Mega Live, and in down view, I could see all of our lines. And as we're fishing and jigging and sliding the current was really important. And the thing is, when you're sliding the current on Rainy River, it's not a Detroit River current where it's 3 or 4 miles an hour. It's usually a little under 2 or a little over 2 miles an hour. It's real mild, real slow, but you go downstream a little bit faster than the current speed. So if you go downstream just a few adjustments higher, maybe, a tenth or 3/10 a little faster, and drag your jigs, you're going to get hit faster. But we had the weather switch and go to the northwest. Then we had to spot lock and jig.
Where I've been telling people that the tungsten jig really shines, for me especially, is in any type of adverse conditions. So whether that's current or wind, super clear water, it has those little extra benefits that really help out. So, with that being 30% smaller than a lead jig, this MVP has a lot more drag in the water than a tungsten jig does. So you can actually get away with a slightly smaller size. I know Charlie from Northland was up on the Rainy this weekend with a bunch of guys, and they're fishing eighths, in 12 feet of water. Not a lot of currents rolling through there yet without the rivers going or anything, but that's a small jig for a river, situation. Usually a river, you think quarter or bigger, but
well, what I like about this here, when you use plastics, you got a impulse tail on here. You want to loft it a lot of times when you're going through weed beds and you're swimming a paddle tail through a weed bed to catch walleyes or bass, whatever you're doing. It lofts nice. I like using lead. But one thing I noticed, it's a little different now with forward viewing, and a lot of people have it. There's still a lot of people slipping and doing the current. There's some people racing up and down the river. We had the same boats pass us by 4 times and making lots of waves. But is with forward viewing, you don't have to fish like you used to fish. As a matter of fact, we'll find a little point, a shoreline point, and then spot lock on the point. Mm-hmm. And so I'm giving up my secrets here. And then I would spot lock on the point on the very tip, just a little bit up, and we'll sit there and wait for the fish to come by, and you could actually pitch at them. And they're going to swim by because that's what they're doing. They're moving right now. And it was really amazing. And I know that Hammy's definitely going to get a mega live after seeing the fish swim up and grab it. But there's a couple other people that caught on really quick as we were netting fish, because for a while there I was the net man, and I got the biggest ones, but I was netting fish for these guys. And it's about picking a spot and deer hunting for the walleyes.
Yeah.
And
so how did you have your mega live mounted on the boat there when you were pitching spot lock? Because I assume you're pitching off the back of the boat. Did you have your ice pole on the back and kind of looking that way, or?
Yeah, I had it straight down, and you could forward view and you just see fish everywhere, and you're looking for big fish. But in down, they're going to come through. But if you're just going to sit on a point, you could put it straight out and just watch the fish come through. But it's a narrow beam when you point it straight out. You want it at a 20 degree. When them fish pass through, you just cast up, and you could actually turn it and then watch your jig come through. But the thing is when you have it straight down, everybody could see their jigs, and we weren't always fishing under the boat, but you could ice fish them basically. And what it is you're fishing fish all the time and not fishing, so yep. You're not fishing around, you're fishing the fish to catch. And so using that as a shoreline, it doesn't have to be shoreline. Some of the guys who got on this actually had Mega, and they had forward imaging, and some of them were up in 6-8 feet of water, and they were catching fish. The bigger ones were a little bit deeper, and that's going to change as the water warms up. They're not going to be sitting out in the middle all the time. They're going to be right up, just like a lake or any other river, and move through. And some plastics work, but plastics got better as the day progressed.
All right. Well, it looks like Gussie is on. So without further ado, let's bring on our Bassmaster Classic champion.
Oh my gosh. There he is. How you doing? The elite champion.
Pretty good. All is good. I'm back on the road here in a couple days, heading to South Carolina. We get the Elite Series stuff going again next week. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting back in the boat. I'd hoped to do a bunch of ice fishing over the last few days here, and it's just been, busy. So I'm not getting my usual ice fishing fix, and now it's just like, thank you. Prime time. I made a coffee and I came out to the shop, so Shelbs just brought it out for me. I'd forgot it in the house.
Oh, hey, how you doing, Shelbs? That was awesome.
She's good.
Well, I got to tell you right now, and I know you get to hear this stuff. You've been hearing it a long time, but Congratulations. How long have you been dreaming of that moment that you win the top of the food chain tournament?
Yeah. For anyone that fishes bass tournaments, I mean, the Bassmaster Classic's the dream. That's the biggest dream there is for what I do. So, yeah, it really still doesn't feel real. I mean, just that a lot of things like just kind of clicked and went my way at the biggest tournament of the year, and it's just it's crazy. Like, I've gotten messages from so many cool people about it, and just it's been a crazy couple of weeks, but
that's fantastic. And I just want to say, and we talked about it earlier, I was listening to the podcast as I was coming back from a seminar, and I hit the rumble strips a few times just listening to it. I was so nervous, and when I heard you were still hanging in there, I'm telling you, it was really amazing for everybody else, and it's fantastic. And we can't even imagine what it'd be like, the pressure that you feel when you're in a situation like that.
Yeah, that last day was a rough day, but
there it is.
And Gussie, you said for anyone in bass fishing, it's the ultimate. We have, being under Northland, I know so many hardcore walleye guys that pretty much only fish for walleyes, and you wouldn't believe how many people of those guys are tuning in and congrats. So I would say, for those of you listening to the podcast that don't know what the Bassmaster Classic's about, it's probably the most coveted, I would say it is the most coveted trophy in fishing worldwide. Like, it's the thing to do, and you're the first Canadian to ever do it, so that's got to be pretty cool too.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, there's been 6 Canadians that have got to fish in it. I mean, just to fish in the Classics, like a big accomplishment and a big deal. And so, yeah, like just that a lot of things like for every, I know some people probably watched and some people didn't, but like the first 3-day tournament, first 2 days went really, really well, like perfect. And then I actually had the biggest limit each of the first 2 days and had a pretty good lead. And then on day 3, I could only put 2 keepers in the boat. So I made it interesting for everybody. And
you sure did.
It's one of those things where like like other sports, you get to kind of keep score. Like, I don't know how it would have affected me knowing like all day that I was still like hanging in there, but like, I think it would have really motivated those guys that were right behind me because they probably didn't think, it was just a tough day for everybody. I'm sure looking back now, like they were like, man, what could I wish I could have done a little something different maybe. And it would have been a different outcome. But yeah, just a crazy, like I said, a lot of things kind of collided, went my way, and got the right side of the finish line there.
Yeah.
Well, and because you did this, I had you on the podcast before, and I said you're the most famous person in Canada. Now, undoubtedly, you're the most famous. You're one of the more famous people in United States, Canada, and the world. You're international. You're the Bass King. You're the international Bass King, as we'll say on the show here. So, just want to tell you that.
Gussie, that I think it was Jason Christie said that either on live or when he's giving you the trophy that. You get treated like royalty for the first few weeks after winning the Classic. What has that been like? Because I see you on the big screen at the Winnipeg Jets game. Like, what's it been like winning this, and especially being the first Canadian?
So Shelby and I went to the Jets game on Saturday night, and it was kind of funny because they were playing Nashville, which is in Tennessee also.
Yeah, perfect.
So that was good, but yeah, that was a pretty cool little moment too. Like that, I got a little cheer at the hockey game. But yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. Like how much like people that I've heard from a lot of people, that like don't fish or follow professional fishing, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's been good. But it's been a lot like the last couple of weeks. Like honestly, it's been a lot of interviews and a lot of like I got some writing projects I'm way behind on, and a bunch of email stuff. I still have a list of stuff to do, and I've got one more day tomorrow. and then we roll early on Thursday. And it's I'm looking forward to getting back in the boat and just being able to focus on fishing again next week. But yeah, it's all good. I mean, if people want to talk to you, that's awesome. But
Well, I got something important. I seen you using your Humminbird, and how important was the Humminbird Mega Live to your fishing technique?
yeah, I mean, I couldn't have done what I did without it, and it's mandatory equipment now, having forward-facing sonar on your boats if you want to fish competitively, especially for bass, and I think walleye too. But do you need it to catch fish? No. But if you're doing it at a high level and competitive, that's my job. I need it. And then it was pretty cool. Like Bassmaster had it hooked up, so all the people that were watching Bass Live could see what was going on my screen, and see how those smallmouths kind of were reacting to my bait, following some of the hooked fish. I mean, it was pretty good stuff that they were able to pull off. And it made it like the way that I was fishing was probably kind of, I've heard it was boring for people to watch, but I love fishing that way. It was just a technique that I've caught thousands of bass and walleye with, and something that I was very comfortable doing, and probably had a little bit of an advantage over the rest of my competition, just in the way that I was able to fish.
Well, and let's talk about this a little bit, because this is the second time you've won an Elite Series event on the Tennessee River. The first year you did it with just 2D sonar, and you're using that moping technique that is a lot like ice fishing. And I know there's a ton of the Roadshow fans that are big into ice fishing. Also, that these guys know you won 2 years ago doing that exact thing. And, a guy caught a fish or two here, but no one really figured it out like you did. Do you owe a lot of that to, the confidence you've built doing that up in Canada and even ice fishing?
Yeah, I think so, a little bit. Like Carl Jacobson's one of my best friends out on the tour. We talk to each other and help each other and stuff. And I've kind of told him what I do with this program, and we've never really got to go stand next to each other in the front of the boat and do it. But yeah, I think talking to him after, I'm just giving him a few baits and here, it's easy, and
yeah.
And then he watches what I'm doing on live, and he's like, man, you just, when to let your bait start swinging and penduluming, and when to give it a little shake. And it's just a lot of, I guess, from hours and hours of watching a flasher and just how fish react to your, to your bait, triggering them to bite, keeping it above the fish a little bit. That's the main general rule with that technique. And so when we had 2D, it was all about getting on top of the fish. And now with Mega Live, we're able to pluck off fish that are in front of us a little bit. And what happened, especially the first day I caught them pretty easy. And then by day 2, it was getting harder. And then day 3, it was almost impossible to catch them. But the ones that I did catch, I'm pitching the bait. I couldn't get on top of them. They just wouldn't bite. They wouldn't be even interested in look if you were on top of them. And just, it didn't take a lot of pressure to smarten them up. And then it was, slick, calm, bright. But yeah, that's the biggest thing that Mega Live does now, is we can put our bait in front of fish without, the fish sort of knowing that you're there. And, it was the electronics were huge, as much important as in any tournament I've ever fished before.
Well, and you run a Lund, and the Lund that you have is the hull is very similar to the 2075 Pro V that I got coming. What's your favorite part about running a Lund? And you absolutely are the spokesman for Lund. I mean, you brought it home at the highest level possible.
Well, hey, I'm going to stop you right there. We still got Gary Roach and Al Linder on the team.
I mean, in bass. Let's be very,
Yeah. Obviously, those two guys are our idols, all three of us.
Oh yeah, for sure. We won't forget about them, but I'm talking about this event.
I've been super lucky, just to kind of grow up in Lund country. They've been huge supporters of mine for a long time, and have got to fish out of that Pro V bass since 2017 when they came out with it. And it's my dream boat. I mean, I love competitive fishing, but when I'm at home, I mean, I do everything. I guide quite a bit. I fish for walleye and muskie, crappie, lake trout. Pull the boat up on shore a few times to make a shore lunch, and just it's just a really good boat for doing all those different things. Tons of storage, and fine in big water. So yeah, it was awesome to get to for that to be beneficial to Lund, just sort of as because they've done a lot for me.
Hey Sam, we got a prize pack, and I
Yep.
don't want to forget.
I know. We got to remind people of the prize pack.
What do we got tonight?
So we're giving away a bunch of stuff. So followers of the show, we always give away a bunch of Northland goodies. And this week we got a bunch of those brand new tungsten jigs, some of the weedless Fireball, of course the iconic Bro Road Show mug. But we also got a Bro Road Show hat, a Visit Bemidji camouflage sweatshirt, and a stuffed animal Paul and Babe from Visit Bemidji. So we got to thank them for sponsoring the show. So we're going to be giving this stuff away at the end of the show. Make sure to like, comment your questions, and then share the show, and that'll get you entered. We'll pick a winner with about 5 minutes to go here at the end of the show. So like, comment, and share and get that big prize package.
And it's not a cheese grater hat either. It's a really warm one.
That looks like a sweet hat.
Yeah.
So Gussie, that big Lund, like, it's got so much room in it. I bet when you're on live, the cameraman.
The camera guys and the marshals love it. Like, but I did get quite a few compliments from Brian, my camera guy. He rode with me all 3 days, and he goes, he's working all of the elite events. He's been in all the different boats, but the guys love that. Lots of room, and it's a comfy ride.
Is there any other aluminum boats? I mean, we don't have to name the brands, but are there any other aluminum boats?
John Cox runs a craftliner, and Bill Lowen, Caleb Sumrall. I don't know if there's anyone else, but they run an Express, so more of a southern brand. But there's a little bit of aluminum represtation out there. And
you brought the Lund to the south. You did. This is great. And as far as fishing in the Lund and fishing in Canada, in northern Minnesota on Rainy Lake, your techniques have proven themselves out with all these people here. Are you ready for the next event, and where are you going?
Yeah, so we go to South Carolina. We actually have 3 tournaments in the next 4 weeks. So I'm excited it's going to be a lot of fishing, and it's a great time. It's spring in the South. Best time of year to be fishing down there. And we're going to Lake Murray. So the MLF guys were there last week. They caught them really good. It looked fun. I've never fished there, been there before, but looking forward to it. It's a herring lake, so I think the jerk shad baits and that sort of thing that I like to use should be a player there. Maybe I don't know. And then we're going to Santee Cooper the following week, so that's right on the coast in South Carolina. Kind of land of the giants. That's going to be the best big fish place that we go this year. There'll be 8 and 9 pounders caught. I don't know if there was a 10 last year, but I caught a 9-pounder there a couple of years ago in one big fish one of the days.
Monster.
There's monsters at that place. And then we got a week off. Then we go to Lay Lake in Alabama. So I've never been there either. It's a good spotted bass and largemouth lake. So I love the spotted bass. Not that many lakes have them where they get to be bigger, 3 and 4 pounders. This place has them. So I'm excited for that.
There'll be a player then at that tournament.
Oh yeah. They'll be using the little elite Ned rig. Will be getting a workout there. I don't know if, for all the bass heads out there, we got a whole lineup of sweet new bass jigs this year. So Ned's got a 604 gammy in them, and that's the rest of the year. That there'll be 1 or 2 of those tied on my rods at all times. And then obviously when we have 3 smallmouth tournaments later in the summer, and going to be big part of the arsenal.
Yeah, that finesse football too will come into play, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the other one. And the wacky jigs as well, but the Ned football and the Ned rig are good, and like they come in a variety of colors. Like that's I don't know how good you can see that, but that's a
Yeah.
black and blue little football. They're beautiful. Well done. Good keepers. You can see the little wire on the bottom, and yeah, no, those are probably my biggest request. You know, a good Ned head and a good little mini football head. We use that with some of the Ned baits in deep water, and then also really good with the small swim baits.
Yeah. No, we're really super excited for that bass line of Elite Series jigs. I'm happy with them because really they're a good price, but also all that Elite Series stuff has a Gamakatsu hook in it, which usually you find stuff with Gamakatsu hooks and it sends the price way up. So we had a great partnership with Gamakatsu on those, and we're really excited with how those turned out, and
so
ready to get after them.
The other, we got the Mimic minnow jigs back too. So
Yep.
last week in the Classic, I used, my friend makes one called the Smeltinator. So I've used this for like 10 years, made in my hometown right there. It's good. It's got a little bit heavier hook. The Mimic jig, it's got a gammy hook as well, a little bit lighter wire. So just for wanting to be able to boat flip some of the fish last week, that was where that little bit heavier hook I like better. But for walleyes and a lot of the, when we go to some of the Great Lakes, I mean, if we're fishing really clear water, more finesse and lighter line, then this, lighter wire hook's going to be better for some of that stuff.
Yep, exactly.
That's fantastic. And what I want to know, Gussie, when do you use the Aquaview? Do you use them at most of your locations?
So yeah, I mean, it's mandatory equipment in the boat, have it with me all the time. Obviously, when we're fishing up north, it's in the clear water, I'm using it a lot more. St. Lawrence River, it's the most incredible, fun place to use it because the current is massive and it actually keeps the camera under the boat and you can cover so much ground. And I've found so many deep boulders and schools of fish. It's the clearest water you could ever put a camera in. And so you can see like 30, 40 feet out in front of see fish coming for a long ways. So it's pretty neat. When I go down south, obviously the water's not as clear, but great still for like fish ID, looking at brush piles. Brush piles are very common in a lot of the lakes down south. At the Classic, and I kind of learned this the last time, and then the camera verified it for me, but these fish would hide in the cracks in the rocks. I mean, belly to the bottom. Like you never see one there on your console screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did when I got there this time, I went back to some of these rocks where I caught the fish the last time, put the camera down, and I could see them hiding down in the crack. It gave me that I need to go find rock and then put a bait down because some of these guys probably drive over it, don't see any fish, keep going. Because most places you see the fish pretty easy, but just for some reason at that Tennessee River, they would hide on the bottom. So I got a nice little assist from the Aquaview there. And then this year I've got the multi-view set up so I can plug it into my Apex machine at the console, and it's just a bigger screen, very bright, easy to see. So that's that I'm looking forward to that for this summer.
And that'll be right on your Humminbird then.
Yeah,
that'll be great.
Yeah, and yeah, it's so much nicer. Like you can see it really good, and yeah, fun to use.
One thing you were saying on live during the Classic is you thought there was more fish there during the Classic than when you won the Elite 2 years ago. Do you think, was there physically more fish there, or were you just seeing more being able to use that Mega Live and then kind of knowing where they were in the rocks?
No, you're probably right. I never really thought of that, but that's for sure. But they just were hard to catch. I mean, I could drift over some of these places and in one, 30 yard drift could see I'd have 8 or 10 fish come up on my bait and they just would check it out, back down. And I mean, I tried all kinds of stuff and my number one bait was still the best thing that they would bite, but like they just were hard to catch. And I mean, you saw a few of the other guys fishing a lot of that stuff and, one here, one there, some of the guys caught a few, but I ended up catching all my fish on some new places that I found down farther into Tellico. And it just, again, it's still like kind of unreal.
Coming into the event, did you think you'd be able to repeat the success you had, 2 years ago? or were you kind of just going for broke, knowing that if you could pull it off, you could win it?
Yeah, like it's cliche to say you go fish the classic to win it, but
Yeah.
you kind of do. And so having experienced the smallmouth thing last time, I knew how good it was and the potential of it. And so I was going there like pretty much committing to smallmouth fishing. I mean, I just felt like that was the best way to give myself a chance to win. If I could figure out how to get a limit every day, I was going to be in the mix, and it worked. Like we all fish tournaments, and hardly ever your plan before it starts works out at the end. Like you always got to make some adjustments and stuff, and I did a bit, but I mean, it was. I came there to look for smallmouths, and fortunately, like found just enough to get the job done. But
So, viewer, I was asking, how did you handle the stress on that day? Heart failure midday, and how do you go into that? I mean, what keeps you going? What are you thinking? What's going through your head?
Yeah, so obviously, like the last day, and I've said it, just that it was horrible. I mean, I wanted to go catch my limit again. The first 2 days, I mean, I had it fairly early in the morning, made for easy days, and I knew the last day was going to be harder, but I still thought I would be able to get the job done. And then the thing is that it's not like all the fish totally ghosted me. Like I kept seeing them throughout the day. I don't know if I went more than 10 minutes without working on a fish like throughout the whole day. So it was just like my mindset was just 100% to like just keep firing that bait around, and I got to get it over top of one that hasn't seen it yet and doesn't know my boat's here, and then hopefully I'll get trick one to bite. And I got to, and I mean the smallmouths had to be 18 inches there, so it was a big fish if you could get a limit of them. And I had, several over 17 inches, like nice fish that I just had to throw back. So
on that last day, and now it kind of sounds like you're working fish all day, but on that last day with 2 in the box, did you second guess yourself of, oh, I should just go beat the bank for some largemouth just to try to get some more fish in the box? Or was it, you knew you just had to go for broke? I mean, I was nervous watching for you, and I knew what everyone else's weight was. I knew.
To be honest, I'd fished there enough to know that it wasn't an easy place to fish. It wasn't like most places where you could just go and, I probably should have had a few docks maybe where I could have went and thrown a wacky rig around. I know Jacob Brosdahl at the end of day 3 came, he's like, dude, you should have just went and threw a Senko around the docks, and like. Yeah, easy to say, but like stuff like that, it's good to have a couple of those for a backup plan in case you need a fish, And I thought about a lot of things that I could have done, but I just kept like I say, I kept being around fish, doing what I was doing, and I had a lot of confidence in it. Like even that ride back was terrible. I did not think I was going to even have a chance to win. Like somebody's always the hero on day 3, and it's not going to be me. And but at the same time, I didn't have any regrets really. I mean, I fished how I thought I could give myself the best chance. And I mean, if I'd caught 1 or 2 more, it would have been a sealed up deal. But it looking back later, it'll be, it was more exciting. It'll probably be more memorable the way it ended up versus if it would have just been easy again on the last.
I seen images of you concentrating and fishing, and there's 2 boats on one side of you, another boat on the other side, and 2 guys standing with binoculars on you. It's not like our tournaments around here. We don't have 3 boats scrutinizing every move you make. So that, to me,
there was like 25 of them following me on the last day. It was crazy. And I couldn't imagine like Kevin Van Dam back in the day would have 50 or 100 following him. I mean, it's insane.
Were they locals or were they people that are trying to learn?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple people I know. There was a few people, like I know a few Canadian groups that messaged me after that were out there. Because I mean, when I was fishing, they weren't really talking much. When I caught those couple keepers, I got a cheer, and everyone's intentions are good. But like, I think just all the boat noise and sonar, who knows? Like, I don't think that probably helped my cause for what I was trying to do either.
That's what I was wondering. It couldn't have helped.
Do you manage that in any ways? Because exactly, like You got a golf tournament, people can't be standing on the fairway. A football game, they're not on the field, but fishing, they could be.
I mean, and the rest of the season, you might get you'll get a few people following at some of the elite events, but not like usually a crazy amount. And it's just, that's the way it is at the Classic. It's like this massive festival for bass fishing, and people come from all over the world to be there, and it's amazing. But that's, any Classic, whoever, is doing well on the final day is going to have people with them and following. And it was just part of it. You can't, I really wanted to be like, hey guys, I'm going to run to another spot. If you all just wait here, I'll be back in 2 hours, and hopefully I'll have 5 fish and we can have a party. But you can't like be yelling at people. And, like I say, I know everyone's intentions are good, but it is what it is. Some of them, I'm sure, just want to get the spots too. Like I know, after I left, some of these guys just drive over and throw a dot down, but it is what it is.
Is there a distance that people have to stay? Obviously, it's public water, but
yeah, it's public water. They can do whatever they want. Like
it's a gentleman's thing.
Did you have anyone helping them out? Because I've been to some tournaments, where you get out there and all of a sudden one spectator boat's getting too close, and one of the other spectator boats will yell at them and be like, "Hey, back off, get them some space." Did you get some of that action?
Yeah. Like there was one of the boats had a bass photographer, and they kind of let a few people know, like, that's, maybe just turn around a little bit here.
But they're just excited.
That's a good thing. We get some tournaments that come to Minnesota, or even throughout the belt of people who watch the road show. Is if you do go to this tournament, I think it's awesome to get on the water. I went to the one at Mille Lacs and got on the water. But just keep your distance, turn your electronics off. I just, give the guys plenty of room and watch them fish. Bring some binoculars. But it's super cool to watch how you guys target the water and zip around from spot to spot, and when to move, when to stay. It's fun.
Yeah. No, it was I was a good weekend. I fished good, and it just, again, like can't believe it.
When you were right down to the last guy.
Say that again.
When you're right down to the last guy and you were next, what were you thinking? Your heart had to be racing, and Shelbs was there watching, so it had to be just unbelievable.
It was an unbelievable feeling. I actually knew, like, roughly I knew I was going to be a little bit over 42 pounds. So, not quite, they didn't really let Canterbury and Schmidt and I talk to each other. So that was kind of who knows what they got. It's going to be close, was really all I expected. And so when I heard their weights, not hit 42, then I kind of had a pretty good idea. Cox weighed in right before me, and I sort of he didn't have a good day. Like, he came and gave me a hug, and was like, told me his story. And so when I finally, it was my turn to come into the arena, I needed five something, and I knew that I didn't weigh my fish, but I knew they were both over 3 pounds, and I was going to have enough to. Not by much, but I was going to have enough, and it was a pretty good feeling, yeah.
I say, what's it like to hoist that trophy up, and all the confetti comes down, all the Canadian flags out in the crowd? That's not a light trophy, and you just whipped it up there,
dude. It's 45 pounds. Like, if I tried to do it right now, I guarantee I would hurt myself. And in that moment, it was so bright and loud, and I was so fired up. I mean, I've looked at watched the video back the other day, and I just fired it up there like nothing. But like the next day, like, I held it for 100 photos that night, this. The next day or two, my arms were actually pretty sore from, like, I'd been working out at the gym. I haven't been to the gym in a long time. That's why. But
Well, the Peterson boys were down there with you.
Yeah.
And they hung out a little bit afterwards with you, and they're like, Gussie held that trophy like for 2 hours nonstop. Didn't put it down once.
Yeah.
40.
No, that was probably the highlight of the whole day, and everything was just that Sunday night. They have it's sort of Bass's a tradition to have this champions toast. So a lot of the anglers come, and my friends and family, and just got to have a drink with everybody and take some pictures and tell stories. And it was that was the funnest part of the whole thing.
How many people have been by to see your trophy since you've been home?
Quite a few. We had a little night out in Kenora last week, so a lot of my fishing buddies from around here were out for that. But yeah, I don't know. I bought a bunch of my friends have been by to check it out, and yeah, it's I can't wait to show everyone else, over the next few months. But I think I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna swing by Bemidji later in May on my way down to Texas. We go to the Sabine River at the end of May, so on my way down, I'm gonna probably stop by. Maybe hit Lund at lunchtime, and then Bemidji in Northland a little later in the afternoon, and then maybe we'll have some kind of crash JP's house and have some kind of party maybe on that night.
That's what I tell you. John Peterson, who was still an owner and was the original owner of Northland Tackle, came down and brought the crew. And it's always good to see familiar faces in the crowd that you've grown up with. And he's your partner coming up in one of the Canadian, the Fort Francis Bass Invitational, which is always a fun thing.
Yeah, we've fished that together for the last 15 years, since 2007, and we've had a good run. We've won the tournament a few times, bunch of good finishes, couple bad ones. But yeah, JP's not only just a good, he's been this amazing sponsor for a long time, but just one of my best friends, and we've had a lot of good times together fishing, in that tournament, but also just deer hunting up here. He's let me stay at his beautiful house a number of times, and great. The whole family, they're just great people. But
he's like family.
John's like your biggest fan. John just has the most awesome things to say about you, or if anyone asks about you, he just thinks you're the best, and it's kind of a cool relationship to have there.
Yeah, so. And I think the same of him. So it's we have fun. I don't know how many times, I'm pretty easygoing all the time and get along with everybody. And in tournament day, I'm a different person kind of sometimes. So I've yelled at him a few times in the boat, and I think he's good. Hey, that's all heat of the moment, and whatever, and we always have a good time, and it's all good. But I know there's been a few times where I get all fired up and yelling, do this, do that, and over the years
fishing sometimes
he's probably he's yelled at me before too, but he's probably put just as many or more fish in the boat than I have over all the years. He's an excellent fisherman, and
he is
known for seeing it all.
That's fantastic. And real quick, Sam, remind him about the prize pack, because it's close.
Yep.
And Gussie doesn't have too long, but what do we got?
Yeah. So again, giving away a prize pack here at the end of the show. Make sure to like, comment, and share. Got a bunch of Northland jigs, a bunch of the new tungsten in there, the Bro Road Show mug, the Bro Road Show hat. Visit Bemidji, Paul and Babe, and a sweatshirt. So thanks to all the sponsors for getting that giveaway, and we'll be picking one at the end of the show. So like, comment, and share. Which, Gussie, I did see a comment. Are you feeling more pressure or less pressure in the rest of the season here now that you got the Classic under your belt?
Oh, pressure's off. That's one of the greatest perks of winning is I'm in next year's Classic now. So normally every single day of the elite season is stressful. I mean, doesn't matter how good you did the day before or the weekend before or whatever. It's just always stressful. These guys are all so good. And you never I've been lucky. I've made the Classic every year, but it's hard. It's and you certainly don't want to miss it. It's our 1 week of the year we get treated like rock stars kind of, and it's just a great opportunity. So I get to kind of fish we have 7 tournaments left, and I'm certainly gonna try and win as many as I can, but hopefully I think I'll have another opportunity or two to have good, some good events. And obviously the last 3 are up north, smallmouth tournaments. So those are going to be fun and exciting. And I get to fish kind of how I want, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. But not a lot of pressure. I'm gonna be able to kind of go have fun for sure.
Which tournaments are you doing in Canada?
Canada, I think just about all of them. The only one that's really a direct conflict is I Falls, which every year that I've fished on the Elite Series, this is 5 years now. We've had a tournament at the end of August, so I've had to miss I Falls. Obviously, one of the highlights of the summer, and I love that event. Yeah, I think the rest of them, the KBI or Kenora Lake of the Woods tournament, I got to be in New York. It ends on a Saturday night. I got to be in New York to start practice at Lake Champlain on Monday morning. So Sunday night, pretty much, I got to be out in New York. So I wasn't gonna fish KBI, but I think I'll probably try and make it happen now. And then Shelby's gonna have to just help me on the night driving, and maybe if things go good here, the next few tournaments, I can find a friend that'll drive with me and then fly back or something just to help me knock that, because it's a long haul. It's like I got to go just south of Montreal. So across Ontario, it's like a 24-hour drive to get to Clayton, New York, or to Lake Champlain. And then we go to the St. Lawrence River the following week. But it's a haul. But, I love getting to fish all these tournaments up here. JP and I are signed up for the Fort Francis tournament in July. And then, but we got a bunch up around Kenora in September and early October. So, yeah, I'm going to fish as many as I can, and just love, do all right in most of them. But it's tough competition up here. Like, I certainly don't win. There's a lot of guys that win more of them than I do. And it's good competition. So just, kind of keeps you sharp. And I just love getting to see everybody. And I kind of fish with a different friend in each event. So it's, we're all older now where you don't necessarily get to see everyone except for like that 1 week of the year where you fish a tournament together. And, so I that's all part of why I love it.
And most importantly, Gussie, behind every good angler and king of bass internationally, there's a Shelby that really helps. And what does she think about all this? Does she love fishing or what? I see her holding fish with you in tournaments, and she does really well.
Yeah, she is. She's we fish a couple tournaments together. We have fun, and she's easy going in the boat and just an easy person to be around all the time. I'm lucky. But yeah, she comes on the road with me. Like we're going on the road for a month here now on Thursday, and she comes with me for a lot of them. She's has a flexible job, but it's a big sacrifice for her to come and, to do that with me. So, but it makes life a lot easier for us. And
we can see each other on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise,
fantastic.
It's the dream job for me, for sure. Like anybody that loves tournament fishing to get to fish the Elite Series, but like the traveling and road time and like just time away from home, like that part of it's not glamorous. And, that's where the challenge is to kind of just level everything and all that. But
that's really cool. A couple that can make it in fishing and stay together is everything. And we want to thank you for coming on. We know that you got to run, and we appreciate it. And hopefully we can see you along the way, and maybe I could check out that trophy sometime. I'd like to see what it's like. And anything you want to say, Sam?
No, you'll be when I bring it to Bemidji here. You'll be in the loop. I know it'll be guide season and you'll be busy, but if you can swing by, then we'll have a little bit of a party. And
I'll bring my clients. They don't have a choice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
it's awesome, Gussie. We're so happy for you at Northland. We were all tuning in watching, so it couldn't have happened to a better guy.
No, yeah, I get it, and I just can't wait to bring this thing down and show everybody and all that. But
it's just everything.
And hey, anytime you guys need a guest, just reach out and I'm up for talking fishing. I'm missing the Rainy River, and I'm missing like this next week is when I want to be on the ice. We can actually walleye fish up here until the 15th. So now is prime time, and then the big jacks are all loading up in the shallow stuff. We still have a pile of ice up here, but yeah, we got to go catch bass. So that's the next best thing. And
you don't want to go to Rainy right now because you don't want to hurt your shoulder down there. It's really crazy good right now, and you need to save that for the big money stuff. But we appreciate having you, and good luck, Gussie. Thanks for coming on. The International King of Bass right here. Well, Sam, it's getting to be that time. Before we give away the winner, let's show them what they could win.
Yep. So the winner, which we'll announce in a few minutes here, Bro Roadshow mug, a bunch of the new tungsten jigs. We got some of the regular ones as well as the short shank ones in there. Weedless fireballs, Bro Roadshow hat, the stuffed Paul and Babe from Visit Bemidji, as well as a camouflage Visit Bemidji sweatshirt. So awesome giveaway that I think Brooke's going to pick out here.
And, here's the thing. I just want to let people know every day accesses are opening up at the Rainy for those who are chomping at the bit. There's also Mississippi, depending on where you're coming from, and the border waters. Big Stone and Traverse are still closed, but we're going to have Artie Arnett on next week. And I wanted to bring him in, but I wanted to give him more time because he has just a massive fishery down there. And we want to talk about Big Stone and the area. And so Artie is going to be a great talk next week. And so look for him then. And Visit Bemidji. Those stuffed animals are going to be fantastic.
Yeah. When they dropped those off today for the prize pack, I was kind of like, dang, can I get Paul and Babe too? But yeah.
Exactly. And so do we have a winner?
We have a winner. So tonight's winner is going to be Dan Kaminsky. So congratulations, Dan. We will reach out to you to get some shipping information and get that off. So
congratulations, Dan. And anything for parting words here? I know we've had today it was 66 in the area in Bemidji and 64 where I live, and down in I heard in the metro or the cities it was in the 70s. So ice does not last long. Snow doesn't last long. It's a different world just 3 days later. Yep. And things are going to be opening. And we're going to let you know as soon as we know things are open because we want you to have a great open water experience and get your lunds out and get some fishing done. One quick thing I want to note is I want to thank also Gamakatsu for being a part of it. And before we go, do we have anything else new we want to talk about before we go with Northland Tackle? We covered stuff really fast.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of give an overview of what we got coming out this year. But the big thing is our jig platform, and we'll go through this through the rest of the shows. We got a bunch of new colors of crankbaits coming out, so those will be available. I'm trying to think what else we got. We got a Rumble Bug size 5 and a shallow. That was kind of an early launch. That's available now. So
and that's balsa.
That's balsa. Yep. And we'll talk about the magic of balsa throughout the show. So a bunch of new stuff. It's all online on our website and all hitting the store shelves now. So all available. That bass stuff with Gussie. We got a whole lineup of Ned jigs, cabbage crusher. The Nedster. Yep. So a bunch of stuff. So make sure to tune into the shows. We're going to be running the shows through April here. So we'll be talking about it in the future. So tune in next
bring you the latest and greatest. And you notice Gussie, he talked about the Nedster is going to be on one of his rods the whole time. And, he's helped design all this stuff. So it's going to be great for everything. And it's good for walleyes. So remember to check this out. And as summer progresses, we got some super secrets, stuff that I've been using and maybe have helped me on the Rainy River here recently. Yeah. But tune in to the Bro Roadshow next Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and we'll have Artie Arnett. And before we go, I want to thank Chesterburg Toyota for being a sponsor on the show. Without Chesterburg, we wouldn't have the show, as well as Bemidji Sports Center. Let's go get muddy in a four-wheeler and go have a good time. And, of course, our latest, greatest, and a great sponsor, Visit Bemidji. For those heading this way, you got to visit Bemidji to visit Bemidji. So check them out, and we appreciate the giveaways. And for everybody, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
There we go. All right. Oh, yeah, look at him. You got to fight him on the surface.
What I like to do is take an RC jig from Northland Fishing Tackle, at the shiner after the fish attacked it. Hook 'em weedless style. This puppy wanted a jigging size sucker minnow. Yeah, sucker minnow.